Welcome, everyone, to the DUB Success Series, where we cultivate your belief system for success. I am your host, Y. Nelson Thomas, and I want to know, do you believe? Do you?
Do you believe? I want to know. Do you believe? 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 I want to know. Do ya?
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Do You Believe Success Series with me, your host, Y. Nelson Thomas, your lifestyle strategy partner. Always super excited to have anybody that's willing to take the time out of their day to tune in and listen to me. I certainly appreciate it because I understand that time is the most valuable resource that we have on this earth, and you could be doing anything else, but in this moment right now, you are right here with me, and I am forever grateful for that. So thank you so much for tuning in today. As you know, I am staying true to the 100-day podcast challenge. It's been a beautiful journey. My goal was to start off this podcast by delivering some high-value content every single day for 100 days and beyond. Right now, I think we're on day 25, 26. I'm not sure. I'll have to evaluate once I get done and see exactly where we are. But I think we're at least on 25, 26 right now. So it's been a very beautiful process. If this is your first time tuning in, then I want you to go back and listen to some of the other episodes so you can get up to speed on what we have going on and really just check out where we have been, evaluate where we are, and hopefully you will continue on this journey with us to where we are headed. So we appreciate you so very much for your time, dedication, and your support. So for those of you who have been listening, you know that I also incorporated into the 100-day podcast challenge, the 100-day intimacy challenge, where I would be focusing on establishing and developing the intimacy with my wife to take our relationship and our marriage to a whole new level. And to be honest, love is difficult. Relationships are hard. Relationships are not easy. And if relationships were easy and they were not hard, then guess what? The divorce rate wouldn't be 50-50. But one thing about being in any relationship, it doesn't matter whether it's your friend, your homeboy, your homegirl, your parents, your sister, your sibling. Relationships take cultivating. It takes time. It takes energy to cultivate those relationships. And without that time and energy, guess what? Those relationships will die. They would not bear any type of fruit. So you have to invest into your relationship if you want to get equity out of the relationship. It's just like a house. You may purchase a house with a loan, but you don't really have any equity in that house when you initially buy it. So you have to make those payments and invest into the house in order to get the value up. So that way you will have equity that you can lean on, and relationships are the same way. You can't expect to have relationship equity if you're not investing into your relationship. So I've been doing the 40-day love dare, which is, I forgot who initially came up with the love dare. So I'm gonna have to look back and give the appropriate credit, because this is not mine. I'm just following a model and a blueprint that's already been laid out. And right now, I think we're on day number 21. We're day number 22, where it says love is faithful. Love is a choice, not a feeling. And I think a lot of us think that love is supposed to be all about a feeling, but truthfully, love is a choice. It is not a knee-jerk reaction. So you have to choose to be committed, even if your spouse may not feel that way, or you may not feel that that's what they're feeling in that moment. Then you have to say to them in words similar to these and keep it super simple. I love you, period. Choose to love even if you don't feel the love in return, because someone told me that a relationship is over when two people fall out of love at the same time. There may be a time where one person is more in it and invested in it than the other, and vice versa. So you just never know when that moment is going to come. But if both people fall out of love at the same time, then that relationship is destined for disaster. So you want to make sure that you are cultivating your love and staying faithful in love, and really in all your relationships. So it's not just about your boo thing and your committed relationship or your spouse, but you want to stay faithful and committed in all of your relationships. You want to be able to tell your friends that you appreciate them and that you love them, and don't take it as it's got to be a homosexual thing or something like that, and try to make it into something it's not. But if you have a friend that is of the same gender than you, you can have genuine love for that person. And it's okay to let them know that, hey, man, I appreciate you. I love you. That is nothing wrong with that. So for those of you who may be feeling some kind of way about telling your friends that you love them, then that sounds more like a personal problem, and you would just have to figure that one out. But it's okay to let people know that you love them. It's okay to let people know that you appreciate them. And I want you to take that into consideration in all your relationships. All right. Now, for those of you who've also been tuning in, you know that I am doing the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, and using that as a guide to help not only cultivate my relationships skills, but also hopefully influence someone else to take their leadership to the next level. Looking at a worldwide scale and a worldwide, just in general, the leaders that we see on the worldwide stage and how some of them are conducting and facilitating themselves. So I said, opposed to sit back and complain about what someone else is doing, a name call, or talk about what someone else should be doing, I decided to focus on me and cultivating my relationships and cultivating my leadership skills to take my leadership to the next level. Because I think that sometimes when we look at the example of people that we don't think are great leaders, or the leadership is not being facilitated in the way that we think it should be facilitated, then opposed to complaining about it, you know what? We need to focus on what we can do to take our leadership to the next level, because their lack of leadership could have been there in your face just to inspire you to take your own leadership to the next level. And that is exactly what I am focusing on, taking my life to the next level as a leader. And I also want to be clear, you hear me say this 1,000 times, that leadership is not positional. So you don't have to be a manager or CEO or CFO. I mean, obviously all of those things are leadership roles and have a certain amount of influence that comes with being in those positions, but those are not the only qualifications to being a leader. We are all leaders. The question is, what type of leader are you? Are you a great leader? Or are you okay leader? Or are you a wonderful leader? On a scale of 1 to 10, would you put yourself at a 4, a 7, a 10? Where are you as a leader? And using the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell as a guide, it helps me keep into perspective my role and my responsibilities as a leader. So today we are actually on law number 14. Yesterday was law number 13, the law of the picture, where it says that people do what people see. People follow the leader's example. So today is the law of buy-in. The law of buy-in. Law number 14, it says that people buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. And I think a lot of times leaders in certain positions have these grand visions that they want to push upon people, but the people are like, hold up, I don't know you yet. That's like going on a date with somebody and, they ask you to marry them on the first date, or say, hey, I want you to meet my parents on the first date. It's like, hold on, I don't even know you like that. I might want to marry you if I knew who you were and I was bought into you. But if you try to push someone to go where they're not ready to go, or you try to push a vision on them prematurely, then that could do the exact opposite of what you wanted to do. So if you want to be a leader who is loved and trusted, then you have to understand that you have to cultivate that love, you have to build that trust, and then the vision will be easier for those to adapt to and to go along with. But if you just try to push the vision first and be vision oriented without having the law of the buy-in out front, where people buy into you as an individual, it's going to be so much harder to sell that vision. So you have to understand that you have to sell yourself over your vision. Sell yourself over your vision. And make sure that whatever you're doing, you have to make sure that the people buy in to you. Don't worry about the vision, because if people know, like, and trust you, then they're going to be able to move forward with you. I heard, this is something that I initially heard, when I joined the John Maxwell team was, know, like, and trust. But my partner, AJ Adams, always says, KLT, kilt. You want to kilt it. You want to make sure they know you, they like you, and they trust you. And that makes it easier for you to be able to sell the vision of whatever it is that you're trying to do. Because people buy into you, even when they may not necessarily understand the vision. They may not even necessarily want to go along with the vision. But if they like you, they know you, like you, and trust you, it's easier to get those people on board than it is for you to try to sell them on something where they don't even have that kind of knowledge of you. They don't really like you. They don't really trust you. But if they know, like, and trust you, then they'll be a lot more willing to go along with your grand ideas, because sometimes they're, as visionaries, we have these grand, visions of what we want to see. CEOs, CFOs, these people, these entrepreneurs, these tech companies and startups. And when you're doing something that's new that people are not used to, then you want to make sure that they know, like, and trust you, because if they don't know, like, and trust you, and then you try to come in and sell them a vision that they may not be as familiar with, then they're going to be more likely to shut down and reject the vision, even if it could be something that's great. But if they don't know, like, and trust you, and they haven't bought into who you are as a person, then chances are they're going to end up shutting down your vision and not going along with whatever it is that you're trying to facilitate. So we want to make sure that you activate the law of buy-in and understand that people buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. So I want to ask you this: what are you doing to make people buy into you? What are you doing? What are you doing to make people buy into you? Don't worry about trying to sell people on your vision. Don't worry about trying to sell them on your ideas. Worry about making sure that they know, like, and trust you. And from that standpoint, it'll be a lot easier for them to buy into your vision. So don't go vision first. You go self first. Make sure that, first of all, make sure that you like you. Make sure that you like who you are, and make sure that you are bought into you. Because if you're not buying into yourself, but you're trying to sell yourself to other people, it's just not going to work. So make sure that you buy into you, you love you, you embrace you, you put you first, and then that's going to make it easier for other people to buy into who you are. Once they buy into you, then it's easier for them to buy into your vision, even if it is something that they may not be familiar with. But if they know, like, and trust you, then the vision will soon follow after. All right. Hey, well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I certainly appreciate you for everybody that is tuning in to the podcast. Soon we're going to be having some guests on. I'm lining up guests now. I have some awesome and amazing people who are going to be featured on the podcast. If you want to come on the podcast, you have questions, concerns, or anything that you think that we should be addressing, or just any feedback or input, you can always contact me directly at motivation101@gmail.com. Yes, I love my Gmail. I still use it. I do have email addresses that are attached to my website, but I love my Gmail. So motivation101@gmail.com. Send me questions, any topics that you want to cover, or any suggestions that you have that can make the podcast better. Do not hesitate to send me over a communication, and we will go from there. So thank you once again, so very much, for taking a little bit of time out of your day to listen to me here on the Do You Believe Success series. And before we get out of here, I have one quick question. Do you believe? Do you believe? Hey, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you right back here in less than 24 hours. Hey, you be blessed, and we'll talk to you soon. Do you believe? Do you?
Do you believe? I want to